Okay, I know Mr. Kong is in. Let's wait for others. Now, let's see whether Miu Miu wants to join in or not. As I have already explained it, on Saturday and on Sunday, we may spend some time to look at grammar. We got some other exercises from our worksheets. This is one of those. Now, this exercise tells you how to transform, how to change a sentence from affirmative. You know what is affirmative? Affirmative sentence. That means you can only say yes. To negative, how to say no. Or interrogative, that means to add a question mark to the sentence. The idea is simple. You look at the verb. He has been studying for 3 hours. Which part of this sentence is the verb? He has been studying. 3 words together is the verb. Sometimes the verb has more than one word. Like 3 words, more than one word, 3 words together is the verb. He is coming home. Say, for example, he's coming home. Present continuous tense. Is coming together is the verb. And this 3 words together is the verb. What is the tense? What kind of tense is this one? Oh, I can't see Mr. Oh, yeah. Right, he's now in. Now, I just said, sometimes the verb has more than one word. For example, he is going to school. you have two words together as the verb. Because the verb is in present continuous tense. So you have two words together. How to change it into a negative sentence? That means to say no. If there are two parts of the verb, that means two words together. You want to say no. You put a note after the first part of the verb. He is not going to school. This is simple. Or maybe you want to change it into question mark. If you want to change it into question mark, you move the first part of the verb. Move it to the front. Is he going to school? And then question mark. So this is simple. Now, this is simple for present continuous tense. We use present continuous tense if something happens right now only for now, not for something in the past or in the future. Only for now. For example, I am eating ice cream. You cannot always eat ice cream. It's only for now. So you use present continuous tense. For present continuous tense, the verb has two parts. And how about this? This exercise is for secondary 1 level. He has been studying for 3 hours. What kind of tense is this one? Which part of the sentence is the verb? So which part of the sentence is the verb? So maybe I write this down again. Oh, sorry. He has been studying for 3 hours. Which part is the verb? Has been studying. 3 words together. This is in present perfect continuous tense. Present perfect continuous tense are used. Okay, maybe oh yes, I've moved to this part. All right. Now let's come back to here. Yes, I mean which part of the sentence here is the question, is the verb. You ask me, trying to say the question again. Yes, which part of this sentence is the verb? Is the three words here, has been studying together, is the verb. Sometimes the verb has more than one word. This is present perfect continuous tense. The verb is in present perfect continuous tense. Oh. Right. Present perfect continuous tense is used to suggest that the action is still continuing at the moment of speaking. The action may continue into the future. For example, I have been teaching this class for 7 years. That means since 7 years ago, I started teaching this class 7 years ago. And then maybe I still continue to teach. Most likely to teach after these 7 years. So we have past number 1 and past number 2. If something happens right now only, we use present continuous tense. Maybe I type. For example, I am answering the phone now. I am answering. 2 words together is the verb. Now is an adverb. You see the time indicator. Now. So you use present continuous tense. If something always happens, it happens today. It happened yesterday. It happened 10 years ago. It will happen tomorrow. It will happen 10 years later. Then we use present simple tense. For example, I get up at 7 a.m. in the morning. Every day in the morning. Or maybe just put down every day. So this is the words in blue color are the verb. Oh, sorry. Get up. I wake up or get up. One word only for the verb. This is present simple tense. We have 4 different kinds of present tenses. Present continuous, present simple, present perfect. Now, present perfect tense is used for something happened in the past. Yes, in the past. But the time is unknown. For example, I have seen the movie before. But when was it? Maybe yesterday. Maybe 10 years ago. Time is unknown. The time is unknown. So you use present perfect tense. I have seen. You can also use past simple tense for something that happened in the past. If the time is known, this is unknown. Now, for example, you can also use past simple tense. You can say, I saw the movie 2 years ago. If the time is mentioned, the sentence tells you about the time. Then you use past simple tense. Otherwise, time is not given. Only say before. When was it? Unknown. Then you use present perfect tense for something happened in the past. You can either use present perfect tense or past simple tense. There is another kind of present tense, which is present perfect continuous tense. Now, this is the example. I have been teaching this class for 7 years. I have taught this class for 7 years. Present perfect tense. For 7 years, not 7 years ago. Now, pay attention. For 7 years, not 7 years ago. That means 7 years ago. Okay, take this one as 7 years ago. Seven years ago. So this is today. 7 years ago. You start teaching this class 7 years ago. I have taught this class for 7 years, starting from 7 years ago up to today. For 7 years. Then you use present perfect tense. Now notice the difference. for 7 years is not the same as 7 years ago. If it is 7 years ago, 7 years ago and finished. Maybe I use other symbols. I think use other symbol is better. Okay, like this one. I have taught this class for 7 years. That means 7 years ago until today. If you say 7 years ago, seven years ago, and finished. No more. And then you disappeared. You know what is disappeared? And then you disappeared. Nobody can see you in the class. You're no longer in the class. I have taught this class for 7 years. Then you have to use simple past tense. I taught this class 7 years ago. You can only use past simple tense. One word only for the verb. Past simple tense. Now, there is another kind of present tense. 4 different kinds of present tense. We have present continuous tense. For something happens right now only. We have present simple tense. For something that always happens. We have present perfect tense. For something that happens not long ago, or something that happened already, but the time is unknown. There is another kind of present tense. Present perfect continuous tense. Like this sentence, I have been teaching this class for 7 years. It is for something that happened. Oh, now maybe I type it up again. I have been teaching this class for 7 years. Both are correct in grammar. If you just look at the grammar, I have taught this class for 7 years. Or maybe you use present perfect tense, present perfect continuous tense. I have been teaching this class for 7 years. Grammatically are both correct, but the meanings, they have different meanings. If you use present perfect continuous tense, that means you will continue to teach. You say, yes, I want to continue. I want to continue to teach in the future. If you use present perfect tense, that means you want to say, probably you want to say no. Want to say no, naughty boys, I don't want to stay. Get it? Understand? Yes. So this is the format of present perfect continuous tense. Have been teaching. Or say, oh. He has been waiting. The bus for 2 hours. So this is the format of present perfect continuous tense. Teach. You change it into have been teaching. Wait becomes has been waiting. Get it? Now this is usually for secondary 1 students. When you just turn into secondary school student, you will learn present perfect continuous tense. For example, this sentence, this exercise is for secondary 1. He has been studying for 3 hours. If you want to say no, you underline which words together form a verb. Has been studying, 3 words together. You want to say no, so you put a not in here. He has not been studying for 3 hours. If you want to change it into a question, interrogative, there are 3 words together as the verb, has been studying. You simply move the first part of the verb to the beginning of the sentence. Has he been studying? Has he been studying for 3 hours? Question mark. Get it? Now, together, have a look of these. First one, we have been studying for 2 hours. If you want to say no, how to say no? 1, 2, and 3. 3 words together from the verb. So you put these to the beginning of the sentence. If you want to change it to question mark, change it to interrogative. Have we been studying for 2 hours? If you want to say no, we have not been studying for 2 hours. Get it? Now you can practice by yourself. Number 2. You can practice a few questions by yourself. Now, maybe Mr. Kong, you can do it by yourself. Say number 2. Can you change it into negative? How to say no? We have not been saying he has not been saying. Yes, Mr. Kong, you can do. You can do it correctly. Not he, but not he. He has. Now, he has been singing. The 3 words here are the verb. So you find the verb. The first thing to do is to find the verb. And then you want to say no. He has not been singing since he was 12 years old. How about interrogative? Change it into a question. How to change the question? Change this sentence into a question. How to change it into a question? So how to change it into a question? Three words together is the word. So interrogative. You want to change it into a question. You move the first part of the word to the front. Has he been singing since he was 12 years old? And then you put a question mark. Finish. Right. Question number 3. They have been feeding the monkeys for 2 days. So how to say no? And how to change it into question mark? How to change it into question form? Put a question mark at the end of the sentence. How? So present perfect continuous tense. 3 words together is the verb. You want to change it into a negative sentence. You move the first part of the verb to the front. Have they been feeding the monkeys for 2 days? Oh, and then you change it into question. And then you change it into a question. Have they been feeding the monkeys for 2 days? Then you change it into a question. To say no, to change it into a negative sentence. You put a not after the first part of the verb. They have not been feeding the monkeys for 2 days. Next, number 4. The helicopter will be flying for 30 more minutes. This is not present perfect continuous tense. Which few words together form the verb? Here, the helicopter. You know what is helicopter? The helicopter will be flying. Three words together. What kind of tense is it? It is future continuous tense. Future continuous tense is used to express an action or to express an action going on during a certain time in the future. For example, I shall be swimming in Repulse Bay at this time tomorrow. Repulse Bay. You know West Repulse Bay. That's for something happens in the future. For a period of time. That means from future number 1 to future number 2. If something happens in the future only, for some time in the future, we use future simple tense. If something happens in the future and continues for a period of time, then we use future continuous tense. I shall be swimming, say for 2 hours. For duration of 2 hours, then you use future continuous tense. So come back to here. The helicopter will be flying for 30 more minutes. Now, how to say no? You look at the verb, will be flying. 3 words together is the verb. So if you want to say no, you put a note after the first part of the verb. The helicopter will not be flying for 30 more minutes. And how to change it into a question? Again, you move the first part of the verb to the beginning of the sentence. Will the helicopter be flying for 30 more minutes? And then you put a question mark. Understand? Right, how about this? Next. Question number 5. The caretaker has been cooking for an hour. Has been cooking. This is the verb. Again, it is in present perfect continuous tense. So, if you want to change it into a negative sentence, to say no, you put a not after the first part of the verb. The caretaker has not been cooking for an hour. And if you want to change it into a question, you want to change this sentence into a question, you move the first part of the verb to the beginning of the sentence. Has the caretaker been cooking for an hour? And then you put a question mark. Get it? Number 6. Number 6. The tempo. You know what is tempo? Has been built for 2,000 years. What kind of tense? Now, 3 words together is the verb. Has been built. This is passive voice. Present perfect simple tense. Present perfect tense. Not in passive voice. you can change this sentence into active voice. Now, how to change the sentence into active voice? The tempo, this is the object. You move the object to the back. This tempo has been built. Somebody built the tempo. Say by someone. Or by somebody. The temple has been built by somebody for 2,000 years. You have object in front. If you have object in front and subject after the verb, somebody. Somebody is a subject. If you have object in front of the verb, subject after the verb, this is passive voice. If you want to change it into active voice, active voice means you have to put subject in front of the verb and object after the verb. Now, the tempo is the object. Somebody is the subject. If you want to change the sentence between active voice and passive voice, the verb would also be changed. Now, by is not a verb, it is a preposition. For many passive voice sentences, we need the preposition by in front of the subject, but after the verb. Has been built. This is passive voice. In active voice, we don't need been in between. Somebody has built the temple for 2,000 years. Understand? Both are in present perfect tense. The first sentence here, the temple has been built by somebody for 2,000 years. This is a sentence in passive voice. Present perfect tense in passive voice. If you want to change it into active voice, you move the subject to the front and put the object after the verb. Somebody has built the temple for 2,000 years. Now remember the verb table. This is the verb table. For all perfect tenses, the third column, which is the past participle, will be used. We use the past participle, built. Put has or have in front to form the present perfect tense. Okay? Now you have to revise the verb table by yourself. Now I think the time is running out, and I have to prepare for my own lesson afterwards. Now next time, next week, maybe we have another topic. About Eiffel Tower. We have another topic for next week. Okay, that's all for today, and goodbye.